Hello, world. Welcome to episode 56 of the Jimmy Canz Show, classic supercard retrospective. Let's get into it. Chi-Town Rumble 89. All right. This was an NWA event promoted by World Championship Wrestling, held on February 28th, I believe, 1989, from the UIC Pavilion in Chicago, Illinois. It was broadcast live on pay-per-view and later released on home video, courtesy of Turner Home Entertainment. Action was called by Jim Ross and Magnum TA. We got 4 title matches and a loser leave NWA match to talk about. So let's get into it. The opening contest featured Michael P.S. Hayes facing Russian Assassin #1 with Paul Jones. For this one-off match, I wasn't going to take the time to make just a one Russian Assassin graphic, so guys live with the tag team graphic here. It was a decent opener, I guess. It kind of got the crowd going. I mean, anytime, in this time frame, I guess I should say, you had somebody taking on someone from the Soviet build from the Soviet Union and everything. It made for a hot crowd. Hayes picks up the win in this one, courtesy of a DDT. Our second match on the card saw Sting take on Hacksaw Butch Reed, who had Hiro Matsuda in his corner. Recording this now after the untimely passing of Butch Reed. Rest in peace, Hacksaw. This one was, it's a tough kind of read. Sting was young, up and coming, energetic. Butch Reed was that old school, power rest hold kind of guy. So like the two styles just didn't work well together. Sting was a house of fire early. Matsuda did have caused a distraction. Reed got the advantage and slowed the match way down. A lot of rest holds and everything. So it just, it wasn't, the two styles didn't mesh well, in my opinion. Ultimately, Sting does get the win here. It's the sunset flip spot where, one guy attempts it and the other guy grabs the rope to stop the flip aspect of it. And referee saw, knocked his hands off the ropes. Sting completes the sunset flip and gets the fall and the win. Next up was the loser leave NWA match, pitting the Midnight Express, Sweet Stan Lane and Beautiful Bobby Eaton, joined by their manager Jim Cornette. This was a 6-man, taking on the original, and I say that in quotation marks, Midnight Express. And the reason I say that in quotation marks is, this was build up for months with Paulie Dangerously bringing in Dennis Condrey and Randy Rose to, as the original Midnight Express, and they feuded with, Cornette's incarnation of Lane and Eaton. However, prior to the event, Condrey would quit and was replaced in the match by Jack Victory. So it really wasn't Midnight Express versus original Midnight Express, which had been billed for months. So, just the culmination of this just kind of didn't hit, in my opinion. You've been building this up for so long, and then you have something like this happen for the big payoff. It just made the match not hit. Eaton and Lane, eventually get the advantage when there's some miscommunication between Victory and Rose. They hit a double flapjack on Rose for the pinfall, and the Midnight Express of Eaton and Lane get the victory. So long, original Midnight Express. Next up is our first title match of the evening. It was for the NWA Television Championship with Varsity Club member Mike Rotunda challenging the champion, Rick Steiner, who had his brother Scott in his corner. Steiner looked like he was going to get the win at one point when Sullivan came out and caused a distraction. Was causing him to, leave his pinfall attempt. And then ultimately, Rotunda does get the win when Steiner slaps on a sleeper hold and Rotunda does the pushback spot and lands on top of him, and Steiner doesn't release the sleeper, but his shoulders are down with Rotunda on top. So the referee counts 3, winner, and once again, television champion is Mike Rotunda. Honestly, I think this whole thing was done just to get the title off of Rick, as now that Scott was there, I think the decision was made to, put them into the tag team and start, the Steiner brothers, because that's what you're going to see pretty much from here on out with the two of them, all the way into the 90s, almost 2000s, to be quite honest. So next up was the NWA United States Championship match. Challenger, the total package Lex Luger, taking on Barry Windham with Hiro Matsuda. This match, was meh, in my opinion. Windham had been using the claw hold more leading up to this match, and then they had a spot in the match where he kind of ends up posting his hand and is making the claw ineffective, so he has to go back to his tried and true of the superplex. He hits the superplex on Lex, but does the lazy man just lay there on the landing for the cover rather than do the roll through like he would typically do. And as a result, Luger, lifts his shoulder, whereas Windham's shoulders are down at the same time. So the referee counts 3. It's Windham's shoulders who are down, not Luger's. So your winner and new United States champion, the total package, Lex Luger. Next up was the NWA World Tag Team Championship match. NWA World Tag Team Champions, the Road Warriors, Hawk and Animal, with Precious Paul Ellering taking on the Varsity Club, represented by Kevin Sullivan and Dr. Death Steve Williams. They are the United States Tag Team Champions. However, this was not a champion versus champion matchup. This was just for the NWA World Tag Team titles. And this was just a kind of chaotic cluster of a match. There was foreign objects, there was interference, there was shenanigans, it was all done so quickly because it was such a quick match. Eventually, the Road Warriors do get the win in this one off of a big flying clothesline by Hawk on Sullivan, but it was just kind of crazy and chaotic and not all in all a very solid match. And then last but not least, for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, challenger Ricky the Dragon Steamboat taking on the champion, the Nature Boy Ric Flair, with Hiro Matsuda in his corner. This was built up pretty well in a very kind of short amount of time. And, Steamboat, the clean cut baby face, the family man, against the flamboyant ladies man, cheated every turn, Ric Flair, complete polar opposites in terms of characters, great storytelling, both men could work. And the finish in this one was very eerily reminiscent, in my opinion, of the end of the Intercontinental Championship match between Savage and Steamboat at WrestleMania 3, as Steamboat picks up the win in the championship with the a small package cradle as Flair is attempting to hook in the figure 4. So it seems like every time Steamboat wins, it's always with a small package. But so your winner and new world champion was Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. So in 4 title matches, we had 3 title changes. So that was the entirety of the card. All in all, it was kind of an up and down show. Like I said, the opening match was kind of hot. Next match kind of fizzled. The midnight storyline was kind of killed when Condrey decided to leave the company prior to the event. And last but not least, you had, 3 out of 4 title changes, which kind of brought the card back up a little bit, but the matches themselves were meh, except for the Steamboat match. I don't know. On my 10 belt scale, I guess it was a middle of the road pay-per-view, in my opinion. It wasn't awful, wasn't great. So out of 10, I'll give it 5. So next up in the classic retrospectives will be when the Mega Powers exploded, WrestleMania 5. We've also got NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day predictions coming later this month, as well as Elimination Chamber predictions coming later this month. Next month, we will have our Fastlane predictions. Try and get another retro out as well, maybe. Also, we'll have an NFL mock draft episode that I will do in the next month and a half. And that's about it right now. So give the channel a like, a share, subscribe wherever you are. Hope you're doing well. Take care of one another. And I will see you all